Hello everyone, today I'm sitting down with Baltsar Sahlin, who is the CEO and co-founder of Mynt. Mynt is on a mission to make it easier for businesses to get their expenses under control. They provide a financial platform for expense management and the company cards integrated with your accounting software. Mynt is on a rapid growth journey. Their customers' total transactions increased by 700% in 2022 compared to 2021, and now Mynt is growing by 15% per month. Welcome, Baltsar Sahlin. We're excited to have you with us.
Thanks, Daniel, and great to talk to you.
So, for people not familiar with Mynt, how do you help scale-ups?
I think our solution helps scale-ups in different ways. I think the number one thing for businesses, the number one pain point that businesses have when they come to Mynt is the struggle with expenses and the struggles with receipts and all the time that consumes within a business. So that's typically something that a lot of companies, CEOs, management teams can relate to. All that work that's spent doing that could be spent, doing more productive things. So that's really number one. And I think number two which is also very interesting, is that it empowers more people in your team. So when you're using Mynt, it's easier to set the budget for different people in your teams to be able to buy, the IT services that, for example, the marketing team needs or someone else needs, and to really manage that in one platform. So it's really good for that. And I think the third thing, which is also really nice, is that you get a total control of your spend. You can see how much each team is buying, what are the top suppliers you're using, etc. So that's also, very useful.
Right. Okay. And where did this idea come from? I mean, the company has been around since 2018. What was the story behind that?
Well, I've had businesses in the past. I had an e-commerce company, lead generation company, and when we started Mynt, it was really about solving the pain points that I had experienced in those companies in the past. And what happened at that time was also you had open banking coming, and you had the accounting systems being, becoming cloud-based, and we were really focused on, all the space between traditional banks and accounting systems and everything you could do in between. And that's really the space that's called spend management today. And that's where we focused. And obviously, being closely integrated with accounting systems and then building out our platform and our cards, that was on top of that. And today we built out that whole solution, but the idea was really formed about, solving these pain points and staying in the space between what traditional banks do and accounting systems.
Right. So it's kind of a pain you experienced yourself with, as many companies have, like receipts in a shoebox situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there were a lot of pains that we had, and a lot of time spent, and I think the basis when we started the company was about solving pain points, and we really focused on what are the things that haven't been solved in the past, and I think what happened was that accounting systems were quite fast in developing their services, but banks were really, really slow. And in this space, which is sort of in between banks and accounting, that's which is more like fintech space, but that's where there was a lot of things you could build and really simplify things for businesses.
So Mynt has had a super impressive growth rate with your own sales team, your in-house sales team, and now you're planning several partnerships throughout Europe. What led you to that decision, and what are the challenges you think you might face?
So that was really part of our strategy from the start. We realized that if you're a really small business, having separate tools is not really what you're looking for. You would rather have them in one system, and it's also a really effective way for us to sort of target these smaller companies that would otherwise be a little bit cumbersome to sell to. So that was part of our vision from the start. And I think when we started presenting that to the partners, it really was a strong match from the beginning. And I think it's very, very interesting for us to see how that's going to develop in the future. And it's also a way for us to really get the reach to those huge customer bases that would otherwise in a B2B setting be very difficult to sell to with the direct sales team. And that way we can also focus our sales effort and our product on the little bit larger, medium and enterprise customers.
All right, so it's in essence a way of slicing the market, leaving you to focus on your more high value customers and then reaching a really large part of the market of these smaller clients.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is, and we're very happy with the strategy, and I think there's a lot of opportunity as well as we continue to launch that in other parts of the Nordics and Europe.
Yeah, makes sense. And last year you raised 13 million euros, but your organization still managed to maintain like a very high level of efficiency. So I mean, how do you stay effective and balance that with like high expectations from VC firms?
I think we have definitely grown a lot. So I would say we've doubled the team. So I think we've grown a lot. And then of course at the same time, you're never in a situation where you can do everything. So you need to sort of focus on the most important things and focus on where you have your strengths as a business. And I think what we also want to see is that we have a path to profitability that's, where we're not forced to raise the next round, within, 12 or 18 months. I think we always want to see a path to profitability as well. So I think it's definitely a balance. I think we've been fortunate to have very strong KPIs when it comes to the growth. And of course, we want to sort of double down on where we're seeing that strong growth. And we're also seeing that we are in a sort of pole position when it comes to the partnerships, and we're executing on that. And we don't want to sort of spare any effort on what we're doing in those segments. But of course, there are other segments at the same time where, we're not obviously launching in all of Europe at the same time. We are very sort of focused where we're spending our sales and marketing money, etc. So,
all right. And what would you say? What's the biggest obstacle to increasing the growth rate even more?
Well, it's certainly, it is a B2B market, and in a B2B market, it takes time to grow. So everything that comes to sales and outbound sales has a certain limitation to, how many salespeople you are, etc. And I think we've been growing a lot, but it's limited to your organization. So that's one part. And I think we've been, focusing on creating as much leverage as we can with the solution that we have. And I think that's where partnership comes in. I think it's a very, very interesting way to scale to different parts of the market, where we actually can create scale, and we're getting a lot of help with the go-to-market because it's a different structure when you have partnerships. So I think that's very interesting for us. Obviously, the downside on in those situations is that those take a little bit longer time to implement. So
right,
it has pros and cons.
I guess the biggest upside from your partnerships lies in the future, and you're now growing based upon your own inside sales team. So what changes have you made in the past that has had a significant positive impact on the growth rates?
It was around finding the right salespeople. I think that was number one. So, once we realized how much, one sales person actually could bring into the company during a month, we understood that number was a lot higher than we initially thought. And finding the right people obviously is super, super important. Setting the incentive structure right, so that it's not misaligned with the company. I think that was super important. And then Yeah, I mean, finding the right tools to support them, finding the right management, setting the culture right, and once that was done, it's about scaling the team, and that's where we are now, and really scaling that up.
Right, super interesting. I know you're very busy, so thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us today and share the story of Mynt, and hope to see you again in the future.